Hey, 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 and welcome to the Peace Driven Leader Lounge with none other than Dr.Minesha, affectionately known as Dr. M. And I have our first, believe it or not, our first man in the lounge. Did you know that, Ameer? You're
I did not
officially
know.
our first man.
I did not know. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Now we have quite a few to follow, but I believe that Amir really is phenomenal at setting the tone of what you can expect as we move more men into the lounge. And the thing I'm really looking forward to is just getting that rounded perspective, that I think can change, because we experience different things as it being a man and versus a woman. So I'm just really curious to see some insights, and we'll talk a little bit about that. This is just a conversation, you all, live conversation, raw, with real leaders who are serious about making real transformation in their lives and the lives of others. And so, this is your first time listening. I want to welcome you to the Peace Driven Leader Lounge. You have come to the right place at the right time. I'm so thankful that our paths crossed when it did. This is truly a sacred place for leaders who lead other people. This is your place just to be, to take the mask off, to not have to be on, to really lean and glean from other leaders who have been married, divorced, children, just doing life, as well as doing business, and they have experienced the weight, that culture of corporate America. And so, without further ado, I want to introduce to you Mr. Ameer Alexander Sr. Thank you so much for coming to the lounge, Ameer. Glad to have you. Why don't you share with us just a little bit, just kind of open up. I feel like no one really can introduce themselves like you. So tell us whatever you feel led to share. Would love to hear your landscape as far as, what personal life looks like for you, married, remarried, the work that you do, any kind of corporate experience you have also be a plus as well, just so that we can kind of get some context behind what life looks like for you.
Okay. Well, thanks for having me, Dr. M. I feel honored to be the first man on the show. First amongst many.
That's right.
Um, so grew up in Columbus, Georgia. My mother was in the military.
Oh, I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
Yep. Columbus, Georgia.
Yeah. I lived in
So my,
Columbus, Georgia as well.
yeah,
Parents
cool.
military. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, we got to talk after this and see
All
if we
right.
know some of the same people.
All right. So my mother did about 6 years. So I stayed there until 2001 and came to Tallahassee, Florida to attend FAMU.
All
My brother
right.
also attended, and I studied business administration with a concentration in finance and marketing. And I did an internship my last semester when I was graduating, and it was for free. And the internship at the time was for a guy who had done very well in real estate, residential real estate. And I was working short sales for him. Short sales are when a person owe more on their
Mm-hmm.
mortgage than what the house is worth. So
Mm-hmm.
for instance, somebody owe 100,000, but the house is worth 50. So we would
Mm.
negotiate less than 50,000, buy it at a certain amount. We can resell it to make a profit. So I did that with him for about 6 months or so. And then I started doing it on my own for a little bit, and I started
All
rehabbing
right.
properties. And yeah, so I've done a few things over the years in residential real estate, and I love it. Um,
Wow. So you're saying that from the gate, you were right into entrepreneurship. So you didn't have a season where you were working in corporate America at any point? What
no,
you say?
I had a
Wow.
lot of jobs in college. I mean, I did Jimmy John's, Papa John's, ACS. So I did several jobs in college, but yeah, never corporate America.
Wow. I'm learning something new about you every moment that we're speaking. That
Yeah.
actually is another thing. I think that for me, I was 32 when I had my first. Mm, I can totally relate to that. That's very interesting. Okay. All right. Okay, so let me ask you this, Amir. You mentioned that you have pretty much known entrepreneurship all your life. That means that you have well over 15 years of experience in the real estate space. Would I be correct to say that?
Yes.
So
Yeah. Full time.
you're full time.
Mhm.
Wow. So you
Mhm.
are definitely an expert in this space for sure. over 15 years of experience full time, that is a lot. So you got some stories to tell us. And as you share some of your insights, I would love to hear from you, the lessons that you learned, stepping out into the entrepreneurship world as you look back and reflect. So I have come to realize, especially in the entrepreneur world, it is not for the faint, right? It's not for it's you definitely like I tell people, you're not getting that direct deposit. I have to hunt what I eat. And so there's another layer of faith and focus
Mhm.
that you and fortitude that you have to have when you're in a culture and environment like that. So for those who are listening, who's in the corporate world and they're contemplating moving over or just adding entrepreneurship, to their portfolio, what are some of the challenges and things that you look back in retrospect that you're like, huh, if I was to do this all over again, this is what I would definitely make sure that I do instead.
Okay. Well, Dr. M, I would say this. Having a salary at your corporate job, and let's say it's a strong salary,
Mm-hmm.
150, 300,000. If you can live a life significantly less below your means, you take the rest of that money, and I would encourage people to invest all of it. Okay. I would invest a
Mm.
portion into investments that are relatively aggressive. You have to define what is aggressive for you. And I would take a portion and invest in moderate T bills, treasury bills, for an example. You can't lose a treasury bill. I think they pay 4% a year. So when you look at that model, that allows you to either keep your job or if you want to transition full time, being that you live below your means, you have a nice cushion theoretically. And the reason is, Manisha, in my story, I didn't
Mhm.
do that. So I took all my
Mm.
cash and invested,
Mhm.
and it slowed
Mm.
me down a little bit. So when I got partners or a partner at the time, I had to give up a significant portion
Oh, wow.
because I was sharing every deal because I needed to leverage his capital. So imagine if
Mm.
you don't need to leverage other people capital. You see, you can grow faster. See, leverage allows you to increase profit.
Right.
You can leverage when you have education that reduces risk. So
Right.
the more proper education you have, the faster you can grow and go.
Oh,
Um,
wait, hold on. You dropping gems. I got to make sure I digest all of this. So, first things first, I love the way you said leveraging education. The more education you have, the more you reduce your risk. That is so powerful. It seems so simple, but it's so profound. I was just talking to someone the other day. I said, as adults, when you live a certain period in life, it's not like you're learning a whole lot of new things. The key is to put yourself around people who are going to remind you of the things that you already know, and then unlearning things as well that you've learned that do not serve you well. And one of the biggest things that we do not do is put ourselves in community. We feel like I got to get it on my own. I got to go and grind. I got to focus in, and we need to unlearn that because you're absolutely right. When you put yourself amongst people who've been there, done that, paid the price, learned it the hard way, why in the world would we want to go through, trial and error when we have someone that can give us some counsel there? Let me ask you this: how do you determine the difference as you were navigating through these new experiences? How did you determine the difference between being able to follow someone's lead that has obviously more experience and more results in the area that you want versus leaving your true north, to follow theirs? Because I find that to be like a fine line because they got the blueprint. And so, yes, I may need to take that strategy and that strategy to get the capital to do this, but my vision is different than yours. And I think sometimes as mentors in mentorship and that dynamic as leaders leading other people, we get hard fixed on trying to bring people to follow our exact blueprint. And it can cause them to deviate outside of God's plan for their life and create resistance there. So, how did you navigate that when you were meeting mentors and connecting with people? to take what they were saying, but also, anchoring and staying true to your vision?
Pain, Dr. M,
Mm,
a lot of pain. And what I mean is, so in the beginning, I met the guy I did the internship for on Craigslist, and
mm,
he introduced me. Well, I met the future partner who did the rehabs with me for years through him. And
oh,
so
wow.
both of those guys were very successful. One of the guys was a multimillionaire, had owned
Mm,
hundreds of properties at the time. So just his sheer accomplishments in business was enough for me. Okay. And we shared
mm.
most of the same values at the time. Late,
Okay.
later things happened that kind of made me feel different. But at the time, we shared the same values. So a big piece for me, Dr. M, is knowing who you are.
Mm,
You work from identity, not for identity. So when you can work from that place, you know who you are, you're not easily swayed, you see? And so
mm,
for me, the Father allowed those individuals to be, guides at that time of my life. So what I would say to people in terms of community and the right people and knowing who you are, first, you have to know who you are. And for me, it's the Lord Jesus.
mm.
And I don't say that just as a cliche, is I'm anchored in that. Even in my
Yeah.
imperfections, I'm anchored in him, okay?
Mm.
Because the money won't change you, the people won't change you. When you're anchored, you're not easily moved.
That's so
So by
good.
being so by being anchored, he can bring guys into your life that aid who you are, not change who you are. In
Mm.
him, not
Mm.
personality. That's the difference. So
Mhm.
so for me, it's knowing who you are, therefore the right people able to be in your life to help you on your journey that complements their journey.
Mm. That's just really good. Man, I'm so full by the way in which you articulated that, Amir. And this is why I'm so excited. You all listen, this app, if you have not heard about it, please download it because Amir and other specialized experts across all different areas of leadership are dropping gems like this on the regular in the podcast, in live sessions, in implementation labs, like here to support you, here to be able to guide. You said that word guide, and I know you haven't, you know a little bit about the project, but for you to say so many things in alignment, it's really key because guide to me is even more powerful than, a coach or
Hmm.
what is another term that's really trendy, having
Consultant.
these, there you go, just consultants and things like that. Because the guide, literally, just by that word, it just feels like you're leading. You're in the driver's seat of your own life. You are tapping in to your divine power and you are aligning to your vision. And that is so key because many of people who are listening have deviated from their vision unaware, just because of the lack of identity work. What are some things that you did personally to sharpen that identity and to get to clarify that identity? Because, as we evolve, it is shifting, it's changing. Different things are happening. Different experiences are literally changing the fabric of who we are as we experience them. So, how did you do that? What was your process?
I heard someone say one time, Dr. M, you learn who you are by being around who you're not.
Mm.
And so for me, one of the things the Father has been very gracious with, I haven't traveled the world yet, but He's brought the world to me. And what that means
Mm.
is I have met people literally from all around the world. And when you with
Mm.
different people and you can stay unoffended, you can hear how they think and why they think without agreeing. Because I don't
Mm.
need to agree or disagree to love you. So
Mm.
that's one. Two, you have to stay in the scriptures. And three, you have to be around people that can speak to you and correct you, and for you not to be offended or overly sensitive.
Mm.
And walk with people like the scripture talk about
So good.
iron sharpening iron. Well, that's a pretty violent process. That's not ting. That's you, you with me, buddy? You with me, Dr. M?
Right.
So when you think of that, Sharpening happens in tension. When you
Mm.
think of sandpaper, you have to,
Mm, mm,
but it
mm.
smooths something, you see? So I think for me, and it's still happening, the formation comes by having the right people in your life,
Mm.
staying in the scriptures, healthy community, and being around who you're not.
Mm. I love that so much. This is an intentional pause, you all. I believe that sometimes we go through the motions of life so much that we don't fully digest what's being said. I mean, that was very thought provoking. And I would like for you all to just look at your circle now. Again, if you notice, there's some patterns for those of you who've been following me since the launch of this podcast. You can hear the patterns. The people that I'm bringing to the lounge have never met each other in their entire life. And there's some common threads that you're hearing. Even when it comes to the type of people that I select, it's totally God led. The way my team has aligned who comes in here. And find it not strange that I'm seeing this pattern and it's just really resonating with me so strong right now because you talked about the power of community and the importance of being anchored in your God divine identity. And when you are truly anchored in that, you're not swayed, you're not moved because I'm telling you, we're moving into a time where the very elite will be deceived. And the only way you can really tell a counterfeit, is by truly that's what they do. They literally have you study the real money so that when the fake comes, you already know that it's not
Mhm.
real. And so when you're around people, I love the way you said that because there was no sense of judgment. You're listening to them and you're learning how they think, how they see the world. And that's a very powerful skill that you've developed, especially if you're leading different people. Sometimes we get caught up trying to force people into a way, that aligns with our way. And I just love that posture to to engage with people truly with the heart to love them and to learn from them. My mom used to always say, the homeless man on the street has his story to tell. It doesn't matter what walk of life, everybody has their story. And we learn from each other's stories. And that was really powerful. What is a story you can think of now, just in your journey, entrepreneurship, for those who may be doing real estate part time and they haven't really put their feet all the way in, or just, maybe exploring the idea of adding that as a succession plan. Because if you're in corporate America, you got to know that the W 2 is not a sustainable financial plan. Like,
Yeah.
you know, we know that at the head. If you only have one source of income, W-2, then please let this conversation be a loud ring in your ear that you need to take a step towards entrepreneurship and not like an escape plan from your position. No, you've built a strong foundation there. You have retirement set up there. You have benefits set up there. No, let's not do that. Let's have both. Let's see how we can create a hybrid situation where you're truly getting the support that you need. Because one thing you have that a lot of entrepreneurs do not start with is that you have consistent, steady, predictable income coming in. And that makes you a force to reckon with. You heard it yourself from Amir that if he just would have had that steady income coming in, he would have took a significant portion, lived well below his means, and he would have invested aggressively so that he can do what he wants to do later in life. And you can go to that job and you don't have to be there. That's a whole nother feeling when you go to a job and you don't have to be there. You know,
Oh,
it
yeah.
just feels different.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
have to take a lot of stuff. Like, listen, any point, I'm doing this.
Yeah.
And so, what are some other, as you think about just the journey of entrepreneurship and just some things that you've learned along the way? Is there any other stories that come up for you um, that you want to share?
Oh, so many, Dr. M. This what I would say. I paid tens of thousands for education. Okay. I still pay for
Mm,
education. I pay for
Mm.
seminars. I pay for personal coaching. I've done challenges. I've done virtual trainings. I'm doing one right now. So I don't take personal education lightly. That's not formal education. Formal education to make you a living, self-education to make you wealthy. So when you understand the difference in being able to appreciate, because when you personally educating yourself, Dr. M, you're paying for speed. You can't put a price on speed.
Mhm.
The
Mm.
thing the thing we don't get more of, Dr. M, is time. So for me, I think, I've been reading. My mom was in businesses growing up, so I was exposed. I'm very thankful, very thankful. My mom never forced me, but God graced me with her to be around it. I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful. Never had a dad there.
Exposure.
Oh,
Exposure.
oh man, I'm so thankful. So my mom was in business and I was around it and it exposed me. And I went to the meetings. I read the magazines, I read the books, and it revolutionized my life. I would tell people knowledge in itself doesn't do much, but knowledge with implementation will lead to catalytic results. And most of the time, Dr. M, people need a coach to help with implementation with the knowledge. Because you can get on Google and read all day,
You
right?
talking good now.
You can
You
get on
talking
Google.
good.
You can get on Google right now and YouTube and learn until you can't read no more. It won't make no money. I know people today. So coaches customize implementation plans that allows for speed. How do you put a price on speed? You can't.
Mm.
You can't put a price on somebody saving you 10 years.
Ooh, my. That's so good. That is so good. Wow. Oh my goodness. So as you were going through your life, you said something that I've heard. Here's another thread, you all. His mom. And so I really want to take a moment to talk about parent leadership because a lot of the work that we do, it is about legacy. That's that the people that follow me, the people that lean in, it's not just about commissions. And so one of the things that I realize is that the people that are making these powerhouse gladiator change agents that are making great impact in the world, they usually attribute it to their parents, or a person that was a parent like figure. And so I can't, success leaves clues, we cannot just dismiss that. And so if you're listening here and you're a parent, I really want you to lean in to understand that the work you do is so important, you know? And so talk to us. Do you have children? What is your family dynamic like? And how do you envision your family growing, or how intentional are you about imparting into your DNA, your children that are leaving a legacy in your name?
Yeah. So I have two sons, 11 and 16.
I didn't know you had two sons. Oh, I
Yeah.
thought you just
Yeah.
had one. Wow.
So my 16-year-old doesn't live here with me, but my 11-year-old, because been able to be here with him, pretty early on, I had him at job sites, you know, 2,
Wow.
3, 4. Uh, he'd been in many closings. So I did that by
Awesome.
Nisha, Dr. M, because mm, I think we know in America, manual labor doesn't make you a lot of money. However, it's honorable work. So for my youngest son, it was imperative that I had him out there with me, manually working to show him.
Mhm.
You got to have
Mhm.
both brains and
Mhm.
bronze. So he would lay sod with me, demo work, because the exposure. And I also would
Mhm.
show him spreadsheets, profit and
Oh,
loss statement.
yes.
So we did both. I do both. And then reading about money young,
Yes.
4 years old, books on money to
Wow.
start working on the mind.
Yes.
Oftentimes, what we see in certain communities, I
That's
see this a
right.
lot in the Black community in America, is that sometimes indirectly we celebrate ignorance. And
Mm.
that happens because we don't understand what is ignorance. Ignorance is
Mm.
being uninformed, unaware, and uneducated. So it's not a derogatory term. You just
Right.
uninformed. But the ignorance, Dr. M, is dangerous when we can't identify. what it is to be able to solve it.
Right.
You see, you gotta be able to solve it. You
Yeah.
gotta
You
you
don't
gotta be
know
able
what you
to
don't
identify
know.
it and
Right.
then solve it. So, yeah, yeah, so the children, you have to start them young, and if you don't have it to give it to them personally, get them around people.
Mhm.
Get them in communities, get them in different families, get them in different
Mhm.
schools if you can. It's not a color thing, it's a production thing, it's a progressive thing.
Mm.
You see, oftentimes, if we stay around just everybody that looks like you, you're gonna be limited. It's
That's
not
right.
bad, it's just limiting.
Mhm. That's so good. Wow. Well, you all heard it here. Amir is, I mean, he's dropping, the way in which you serve today really, it really blesses me because it was so sobering and so practical, the insights that you shared. And my hope is that as you all are listening, that you are looking at the stories that were shared and really, putting them in your own story and seeing how they correlate and seeing opportunities for you to be able to connect yourself with the community. For us, we love to be able to hold space for leaders, corporate leaders who are navigating life and leadership and entrepreneurship all at the same time. So continue to stay grounded with us as we continue to introduce you to specialized entrepreneurs like Amir, who we trust, who is integral, who is kingdom minded, who really values results and progress, and in a very honest and trustworthy way. And so for that, I just want to say thank you so much, just for being here and giving up your time. And I would love for you to tell the people today what is one thing that they just don't get anything else from the podcast. Somebody that just came on and they listened right at towards the end, you know, what would be the message that you want to leave with them on today?
Um,
Um,
get to know the Lord
the
Jesus
Lord Jesus
Christ for yourself,
stuff.
develop a deep love for learning, learn what he wants you to do, and then be serious about money and be a
Mm, and be a giver. Oh, that's awesome. I love that. I love
100%.
that. Well, thank you again. You all heard it. You heard Amir. If you just do those things and just be intentional, small things will. You'll hear me say that all the time.
Mm,
You're not going to, sometimes we have these over ambitious goals, but if we just do incrementally small things well, it does exactly like money does, and it compounds over time. And so, what we do here at Peace Driven Leader, we live with the end in mind, right? We're not haphazard with our actions. We are intentional about the decisions we make and how we create environments in our home and in our workplace. And so, if that's you and you want to up the ante on your standard, then continue to hang out with us in the lounge because it's not impressive just to make a whole lot of money or to carry a whole lot of things. It's not about how much you carry, it's about how well you carry it. So, with that
mm,
being said, as we close out today, I want to say thank you for joining us in the lounge today. And remember, peace driven leadership is not something you find, it's something you create. And
mm,
this is your moment to create it. Until the
mm.
next episode, bye bye for now.